Hey subscribers and other viewers, it's Chester Hallett, your morbidly obese idiot. And today, before I get into the yarn portion of the video, I wanted to thank everybody for all the votes they've been given on the top 3 that I've got it down to for the subscriber name. I appreciate it very much, and we're getting a lot of votes on Facebook and a couple on YouTube and a couple on Instagram, so thank you very much once again for those votes. And I just wanted to get that out of the way before we get into the yarn portion of the video today. And I'll be back momentarily with the yarn portion of the video. Hey, I'm back for the yarn portion of the video. The yarn for today is going to be volume 4 of Journey of Our Junkers. This car actually came in sequence just after the gray tempo that burned up on us in volume 2. But we had it for such a short period of time that I thought it didn't have much value. But now, after rethinking it, this car actually, we went through a lot with it for the short period of time we had it. Now, the way we got this car was after our gray tempo burned up. That's cousin. Her and her husband was selling an old Mercury Lynx. I'm not sure the year, probably mid-80s, and it was a standard, so I would have had to teach Annette how to drive a standard with it. And because she didn't know how to drive a standard at the time, she had tried a couple of times with an old truck I had, but wasn't right great at it yet. But anyway, now Annette's cousin, they were doing it for us for a favor because they were selling it for $500-600, and it had needed some repairs, and they told us of everything before we got it, and wasn't trying to hide anything from us or anything. They were doing it for a favor for us, so they sold it to us for like just $200 and said you can pay for it whenever you get a chance, because they knew of the trouble we had with the other one burning up on us. So we really appreciated it, and so we got the car from them, and they drove it up from their house up to Annette's parents' house, and they had warned us that the ball joints and tie rod ends was really bad onto it, and never really noticed it on the short little jaunt from their house up to Mother's, like, because the road they live on is really rough anyway, so there was a lot of like bouncing around and stuff anyway, so you never really noticed how bad it was. But anyway, we live about half hour to 40-minute drive from Annette's mom's. So anyway, they warned us that we should have had it towed home because it was in really bad shape, but I never paid no attention to that. Like I said, when I was younger, I was not scared to drive anything really. I had no fear behind the wheel, but so we started driving it home, and well, I think Annette had went home with her mother or father or something anyway, and I was going along ahead of them. They were just watching me make sure nothing happened. So anyway, here we was. I was going along the road there, and the ball joints and tie rod ends was so bad that you could be driving like this, and then all of a sudden when you went to make a turn this way, ka-chunk, the car would fall over that way, and then you'd be like leaned over this way for a bit, and then when you was driving, then you come around to another corner, it was like ka-chunk, you'd fall over like that. Like, that's how bad the tie rods and ball joints was, and they had warned me about it. Like I say, like, nothing against them. They wasn't trying to fool us in any way. Like, they were doing a big favor for us, actually. But anyways, we got it back to where we were living at the time, and our mechanic lived just up the road, so that was pretty handy. We just left the car there at the mechanic's place and told him to fix it up and just let us know how much it would be. So anyway, a few days later, he got back to us and told us how much it was. I can't remember now just how much it was, but anyway, we went up to get the car, and he said, where are you going with it today? And I said, well, first thing. My wife likes to collect refundables there and take them back, and like to help the environment and help our wallets. And why not, right? I mean, 5 cents a plastic bottle and 10 cents for bigger ones and stuff, so I might as well get some extra money and save the environment at the same time. So she had some collected up, and it was a little hatchback car, so we filled her up with bottles and headed to the local depot, and that was up in Shelburne, which at that time for where we lived was about 25 minutes away. So, but my mechanic told me before we left, he said, well, I had a little problem with the radiator. He said, while I was fixing the ball joints and stuff there, and I'm not sure what happened, but the radiator cap had broke. So anyway, instead of ordering a new cap and waiting for another couple days to fix it properly, he had just took some epoxy and put it up in there and glued it and let it set for the right amount of time, and told us it should hold until he gets the new radiator cap in. So anyway, we took off up to the bottle depot. Man, by the time we got there and stopped and pulled over, smoke started filling up into the smoke, or steam, whatever it was, started filling up into the cab. And I got out and looked, and sure enough, here it was, the radiator cap had fell out of it, and not fell completely out, but it had fell out enough that the radiator fluid was leaking out at quite a good pace there. So anyway, I called my mechanic and told him about it, and he said, he said it didn't hold. So anyway, I said, well, what are we going to do? And he said, well, just try to put as much water into it as you can, and try to get it back here with as much water into it, because he said if it goes down too low, he said it could warp the heads on the motor. So anyway, I said, well, that's not great news. So anyway, so we bought 3 or 4 jugs of water there from the local place, and so we filled her all up with water and started on our way, and I stopped 3 or 4 times there and refilled it up there, but the engine was getting quite hot by the time we get back, and lo and behold, the worst case scenario for old Jesse there happened, and that happens a lot to me. But I always like to say, if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck. But anyway, lo and behold, it had warped the head. So if we're doing the math here with me, we bought the car, drove it home. It sat at the mechanics for 3 or 4 days. We took our first drive into it after we had paid to get it registered our name and legal for the road. On our first 25-minute trip away from home, and killed it on that trip from there and back. So doing the math, we drove it probably for about an hour and 15 minutes all told, and owned it for 5 days. So there's that. Anyway, like I say at the end of my video, you gotta keep laughing, because if you let that stuff get you down, then you'll be pulling your hair out all the time. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little yarn there. It's even though it was a short time, I see my time on my clock here is getting a little long here for my usual videos. Anyway, with that, I'll say, remember, if you can't laugh with me, laugh at me, but keep laughing. Have a nice day.